It's one thing to say I choose peace, but then it's like you have a thought that's not peaceful, you know? And what do you do about that thought? And you have to question that thought. How do I know this to be true? Because the thought sort of requires a belief. Like you have to believe it in order for it to have power. The thought happens, but there's no belief in you. Like you don't believe it. The thought won't have any power. But we give that thought power when we believe it. And so I have to come back to that. Like, all right, how do I know this to be true? What evidence do I have here? And most of the time, there is no evidence. And I'm starting to believe it. And you know what happens after that? It's a cascade. Next thing you know, you have like a narrative, you have a plot, you have characters, you have conflict, you have all this stuff. It started with just a thought. And so I find myself like the peace, to say I choose peace is to also, in those moments, know, okay, this is a thought. I can question it. I don't have to believe this thought, especially because a lot of our thoughts, they're not always peaceful. So, you know, we're in a competitive environment, an environment of comparison, competition, and an environment where hoarding is seen as being, it's what we do as human beings. We take, you know, and so the thoughts might, you know, a lot of our thoughts might be come from that, you know, like that environment. They might have that energy. And so those are not peaceful thoughts, you know, because peace to me is not just like the absence of war or the absence of violence. Like, you know, peace is more than that, you know. And so when I look at these thoughts that will pop up sometimes, I'm like, huh, that's not a very peaceful thought, is it? Once again, it becomes a practice. I can watch these thoughts and I can choose though. Now I can choose. I don't need to follow through on this thought. I don't need to act out, you know, because it starts with the mind or spirit, however you look at it. We know when we feel a certain energy. Sometimes a person doesn't even need to say it, but we can feel something. And then sometimes the person says it or they use their hands even, you know, but it starts within, it starts inside, you know. So how do we get to a place where we're choosing peace within, like, so that it doesn't manifest into that energy that we feel that's not nice, you know, or to words that aren't peaceful, or to actions that aren't peaceful. Um, Not easy. This is the practice, you know.